And welcome back to the Cnbc conversation with the Indian Finance Minister P Chidambaram. Since we are on foreign soil, let's talk about some foreign issues. Because for foreign investors looking to get into India, I know you've welcomed FDI. You've changed some rules in some sectors, but those in retail say that they are still not getting a fair shake. In fact,
well, we have announced what is possible. We have announced a policy on FDI in multi-brand retail. We already have a policy on FDI in single-brand retail. But we have left it to state governments to decide whether they would allow FDI in multi-brand retail in their states. But this is a state subject. Over 10 states have welcomed multi-brand retail and FDI in multi-brand retail. I think the first multi-brand retailer has agreed to come to India. I think the second will happen very shortly. But the next government must also strongly support FDI in multi-brand retail. If the next government turns inward, that would be unfortunate.
Okay, I'll give you an example then, Minister. Walmart was looking to get into India, and they partnered up with Bharti. They had to pull out of Bharti because they didn't feel like they were getting a fair shake in the Indian market. So now they're just doing wholesale retailing.
That's unfortunate. See, Walmart complained about the original set of rules. When I was in the US along with the Commerce Minister, the Walmart met me. We then agreed to look into their problems. We came back. We persuaded Cabinet to amend the rules to accommodate Walmart's concerns. After that, Walmart should have come in. But Walmart pulled out after that, which means they had not studied the Indian market, they had not done their homework well. But they will come in eventually. How can Walmart stay away from the Indian market?
But will they be treated as fairly as any other Indian?
How is the next guy who has now agreed to come in, how is he coming in? He accepts that these are the rules and we have to do business under these rules. Does not Walmart do business, or let me put it this way, did not Walmart do business under the original Chinese rules, which required Walmart to have a Chinese partner? They opened nearly 100 stores under the original Chinese rules. Then the Chinese rules were changed. I think Walmart should recognize, just as they worked under Chinese rules and opened 100 stores, they should work under Indian rules and then hope to change the rules. In fact, we changed the rules. In two critical aspects, we did change the rules. And even after that, if Walmart does not come, that is their call. But let me tell you very plainly, Walmart cannot afford not to come to India.
Just to talk about foreign rules, BJP says that they welcome FDI investment, except in multi-brand retail. Would that undo the work of Congress in the last few years?
Well, that is their stated position, and we have criticized that stated position. I don't want to say anything more.
What is your biggest concern right now? Would you say it's for the Indian economy?
For the Indian economy, my biggest concern is that whoever forms the next government adheres to the path of fiscal prudence, growth, and welcoming investment, both domestic and foreign. My fear is, my apprehension is, some elements in the next government may prod the government to look inward. If it is a Congress party government, we will resist those elements. We will not look inward. What India needs now is a more outward view. We must look outward, and we must stress on fiscal prudence, growth, and welcoming investment.
Globally, are you more concerned about what's happening in the U.S. or China's slowdown?
Well, China was bound to slow down. It had rather hectic pace of growth. It's bound to slow down. And U.S. slowdown does not make me happy. I want the U.S. economy to grow because U.S. is one of my biggest markets, both for goods and services and for capital. So I really want the U.S. economy to bounce back. But then US economy has shown signs of growth now. Yesterday's data is very encouraging.
What about politics and geopolitics? For instance, we had a press conference and a meeting between Angela Merkel and the U.S. President Barack Obama yesterday in Washington, and we could see more sanctions on Ukraine this month.
Well, I'm very concerned about the drift in world politics. The conflict zones have multiplied. Iraq, Sudan, Nigeria, Egypt, Syria, now Ukraine. The conflict zones have multiplied, and there are still a lot of rogue elements in international politics. So I'm very worried about the drift in world politics. It doesn't seem to be a more peaceful, calmer world. In fact, it has become a more volatile, conflict-ridden world. That's not good for the world economy. That's not good for capital movement. That's not good for investors.
Some are talking about a gas war. If there are more sanctions on Russia, what does it mean for their energy supplies?
Well, we are a net importer of gas and oil. We are the ones that are immediately affected if gas and oil prices go up. The producing countries don't realize that they are actually impoverishing developing countries which depend upon gas and oil. I don't think oil-producing countries or gas-producing countries have a right to drive millions of people into poverty by putting up prices, but that's the reality. Remember, prices went up to $147 a barrel, and we have to struggle with that kind of thing. Our people don't understand when we put up petrol prices or diesel prices. They say it's a duty of government to maintain prices. We try to explain to them that we don't fix prices. But then I think it's unfortunate that gas and oil producing countries should get into this price war and just keep raising prices.
But India does support more sanctions against Russia if they continue with...
I don't think that's our stated position.
What is India's stated position?
India's position is that the countries must work together and find a negotiated solution to the problems. Conflict or war or a shooting war or even a cold war is not a solution to problems. There is a genuine problem with the Ukraine. Therefore, you have to sit down and negotiate a solution. We have not supported sanctions against Iran, although we are bound to abide by the UN sanctions. We don't support these unilateral sanctions. So I don't think our stated position is we support sanctions against Russia.
Now, Minister, before I let you go, I just want to ask you a few personal questions because we've seen you...
Well, I don't reveal much, but I'll try.
Okay. Well, we've seen you as Finance Minister, I think, 3 times now in India. You are the Home Affairs Minister as well. What happens if, let's say, Congress doesn't win this election? What do you do?
What do I do?
Do you go into the private sector?
No. I'll be very active in politics. I'll be outspoken. I'll be interventionist, and I won't disappear.
What do you think you'll do, though? Do you think you'll still stay in the public sector, not go to the private sector?
No, I don't intend to go into private sector. I intend to be very active in public and political life.
What's your proudest moment as being a member of the Indian government?
When we delivered 4 years of 8.5% growth, crossed 9% in 3 successive years, and showed to the world that we have earned our place. Unfortunately, that rise was stopped when the Lehman Brothers crisis happened, and the world went into what is now called a Great Recession. If the Great Recession had not taken place, I'm confident we could have sustained above 8% growth for a 10-year period.
My final question to you. We know you as obviously a very efficient, very intellectual minister in the Indian cabinet, but you must have some hobbies. What do you do in your downtime?
Well, I read. I have still a collection of books I've not read, so I hope to read them now. I want to read. I want to write. A lot of thoughts racing through my mind. I want to write. My hobby really is to watch sport. I watch virtually every sport. I watch cricket, I watch football, I watch golf, I watch badminton, I watch chess. If you call it a hobby, I mean, I don't play any sport anymore, but I watch a lot of sport.
You don't play any sports?
Not anymore. I used to play tennis, I used to play badminton, not anymore.
No cricket?
I watch a lot of cricket, but I'm too old to play cricket now.
Minister, thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
Very much. Thank you.